Hey guys, welcome back to Horsetooth Cinema. And today I'm going to be doing my predictions for this year's Oscars, which are on tonight. So, as I did last year, I'm going to skip some of the categories. I'm going to skip all the shorts, which I haven't seen, and I'm going to skip Best Documentary as well, just because I haven't seen any of the films in that category. I think, other than that, though, I'm including everything, especially including this year's new category, which is Best Casting, which should be pretty cool. But yeah, without further ado, let's get into it. So I'm going to start off with Best Supporting Actor. The nominees are Benicio del Toro for One Battle After Another, Jacob Elordi for Frankenstein, Delroy Lindo for Sinners, Sean Penn for One Battle After Another, and Stellan Skarsgård for Sentimental Value. I think this is one category that's like changed a little bit in terms of like who the kind of the favorite is. I remember I think Benicio won the Golden Globe, and then I think Sean Penn has kind of started to pick up some more momentum. There was a moment where Stellan Skarsgård I think looked like he had a shot. He might, but I think it's probably going to be Sean Penn based on how some of the most recent awards have gone. And that would be my pick as well. I think he's really great in that movie as just one of the most like cartoonishly buffoonish and evil people depicted on screen recently. It's a great time to watch, so that's what I would go with for sure. And yeah, that's what I think will win. For Best Supporting Actress, we have Elle Fanning for Sentimental Value, Igna Eibsdottir Lilius, I'm very sorry if I'm butchering that, for Sentimental Value, Amy Madigan for Weapons, Wunmi Mosaku for Sinners, and Teyana Taylor for One Battle After Another. Some really good performances here actually. I think it's probably going to be Teyana Taylor. Um, I know Amy Madigan's picked up a little momentum. I just have like a hard time believing that the Oscars are actually going to give it to a horror movie, especially given like what happened with Demi Moore last year for The Substance. I just don't think the Oscars are over that hump. Maybe they are finally. That'd be wonderful. My pick would be Amy Madigan as well. Although Wunmi Mosaku for Sinners honestly would be pretty good too. All right, for best original screenplay, we have Blue Moon, It Was Just an Accident, Marty Supreme, Sentimental Value, and Sinners. Um, I think sometimes with these like screenplay categories, they'll tend to like give it to a movie that may not end up winning everything else. So for that reason, I could see maybe Blue Moon winning this, but I don't know. I think it's a little bit different when the movies are competing for Best Picture. And in the cases of both of these categories this year, there are movies that actually have a real shot to win Best Picture. So I'm probably going to go Sinners for this one. It's like the most nominated film at any Academy Awards. I'd be pretty surprised if it doesn't do fairly well. I don't know if it's going to win Best Picture, but Best Original Screenplay I feel like is probably a good bet for it. And then kind of similar story for Best Adapted Screenplay here. We have Begonia, Frankenstein, Hamnet, One Battle After Another, Train Dreams. I think there was a time where maybe I would have said like, the Oscars want to give something to Hamnet. Well, I guess we'll get to later. I think there's probably one award they have locked up, but um, I don't know. At this point, I kind of think since I think One Battle After Another is going to do very well at these awards, and I think this will probably be one it wins. So I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go with that, and I think I want it to win as well. Oh, and I should have mentioned I do want Sinners to also win the Best Original Screenplay. So prediction and want to win for both of those. For Best Animated Feature, we have Arco, Elio, K-pop Demon Hunters, Little Amelie or the Character of Rain, and Zootopia 2. I do feel a little underqualified to talk about this because I've only seen two of these movies. Really enjoyed both of them enough. I think just based on I don't know. I think some of it has to do with like just the industry and like Netflix having this huge property now. I do think K-pop Demon Hunters is probably going to win. It's a really cool animated movie. It's not entirely my thing, but I did enjoy it. But I would personally go for Zootopia 2. I thought that was a really fun sequel. Love them including some reptiles in this one. That was a lot of fun. All right, for Best International Feature, I'm still a little salty about this since my favorite movie of the year, No Other Choice, was not nominated in this category. But nevertheless, the nominees are The Secret Agent for Brazil, It Was Just an Accident from France, although it's an Iranian movie, Sentimental Value for Norway, Sirat from Spain, and Voice of the Hind Rajab from Tunisia. So I think it's probably this is one where it could probably go a few different directions. I think it's going to be Sentimental Value just because I think I'm not really sure if that movie's going to win a whole lot else. Maybe Stellan Skarsgård, maybe one of the Best Supporting Actress nominations, but I don't really think it's got a good like Best Picture shot or anything. So I think it's probably going to win this. Personally, though, I'd like to see it go to either The Secret Agent. That would probably be my pick. I also would really not be mad if it went to It Was Just an Accident, which is a terrific movie. But yeah, I watched Sentimental Value last night. I thought it was okay. I had some issues with it. Big step down, I think, for Joachim Trier compared to his last movie. But yeah, I think this seems like kind of the Academy pick for best international that they would go for. It's just kind of works, just kind of a crowd pleaser. All right, we'll go to some of the more technical categories here. For best cinematography, there we have Frankenstein, Marty Supreme, One Battle After Another, Sinners, and Train Dreams. Okay, so I personally would like to see Train Dreams win this. I love the sort of wide angle sort of Terrence Malick stuff they go for in that with the cinematography. But I do think this is probably one that One Battle After Another has. Just again thinking of all the shots they do with the rolling hills and stuff like that. All right, for best editing, we have F1, Marty Supreme, One Battle After Another, Sentimental Value, and Sinners. I would guess this is probably another one that One Battle After Another is going to win. The editing in that film is pretty amazing. For me personally, though, I would honestly go with Marty Supreme. And it's mainly because of how they use humor with the editing. There's so many just really funny like jump cuts to something that was kind of in contrast with the previous scene. And the Safdies are always really good at kind of using the editing in a very like stressful way. So I think that that's probably what I would like to win, but I would guess One Battle After Another's probably got this. Okay, so for costume design, we have Avatar: Fire and Ash, Frankenstein, Hamnet, Marty Supreme, and Sinners. I do think Frankenstein probably is going to win quite a few of these technical categories. Just the Oscars love Del Toro and production design and all those very technical categories. So yeah, and honestly, the costumes are really good in that. Personally, though, I would go with Sinners. I love the scene where it kind of goes back in time to all the different like old music styles, and they're awakening these spirits. I love what all those spirits are wearing. I just love the period detail in it too. I think it really kind of stands out as my favorite of the year. Okay, so for best casting, we have Hamnet, Marty Supreme, One Battle After Another, Sinners, and The Secret Agent. Very cool to see them include an international feature in this kind of new category that seems to have a bit of a bend towards American movies, if, when you think about casting. But yeah, no, cool that they did that. I think Sinners probably has this. I think that just considering like the twin roles for Michael B. Jordan and Delroy Lindo in there, I think it's probably a shoe-in for this. Personally, I love the cast of Marty Supreme. I think that is. I remember when that cast list was released, I was like, this is so unhinged, casting like Abel Ferrara and Penn Jillette in some of these roles. But and I don't know, I love how they use Kevin O'Leary basically to just play himself in the movie, which is cool. I think Timothée Chalamet is honestly a really unexpectedly great, kind of Safdie's lead. So yeah, I would. That's what I would pick for sure. Sound is kind of a runaway category. I think we have F1, Frankenstein, One Battle After Another, Sinners, and Sirat. I haven't seen Sirat, and I've heard that the sound design in that with kind of some of the like EDM music kind of stuff is pretty interesting. So without having seen that, I'll go with F1. I think just what they do with like how kind of realistic they make it sound, and like I don't know, it really like kind of plunges you into the action, I think, for the most part. So yeah, I think that's gonna win, and I think it probably should. For best visual effects, we have Avatar: Fire and Ash, F1, Jurassic World: Rebirth, The Lost Bus, not really sure what that is, and Sinners. I do like the visual effects in Sinners, but I'm gonna go with Avatar here. I just think, I don't know, like I have issues with the script in the movie and just kind of overall, but every time they make one of these, you can't deny like how beautiful and kind of well thought out the visual effects are. It's really the only time I ever want to see a movie in 3D is when an Avatar movie is out. So yeah, no, I would go with that for sure, and I think that's probably going to win. For best original score, we have Begonia, Frankenstein, Hamnet, One Battle After Another, and Sinners. I'm very glad that they did nominate at least Johnny Greenwood for this, but I do think this is going to be another instance where he's going to get snubbed. Not that I think Ludwig Göransson is going to win for Sinners. Not that that's not a great score. It is. I listen to it all the time. But I don't know. I just really want to see Johnny Greenwood finally get the recognition he deserves from the Academy. So that's what I would pick. But I don't think it's going to win. For best production design, we have Frankenstein, Hamnet, Marty Supreme, One Battle After Another, and Sinners. This is one actually where I think Frankenstein will win, and this is probably the only one where I would say like, yeah, it should win. Like lots of issues with that movie. I think it's a complete bastardization of the source material and just not very interesting. But the production design, like the castle and stuff that they have, even just kind of the early set pieces of London, like what they make London look like, is incredible. So yeah, I would say that should win, and it will. And then for makeup and hairstyling, we have Frankenstein, Kokuho, Sinners, The Smashing Machine, and The Ugly Stepsister. I think this is probably one that Frankenstein's going to win. I won't be totally mad at that. Especially like the prosthetics on Christoph Waltz, and then definitely the monster. I don't love the look of the monster in this, but I do think it's technically really well done. Personally, and I haven't even seen this movie. I think it'd be so cool if they went with The Ugly Stepsister. Again, I like the trend. I like how The Substance, I believe, won last year. If maybe I'm misremembering that, but I'm pretty sure it did. I do think they're getting a little bit more open to finally recognizing the great work of makeup and hair design for horror movies. Yeah, I've heard really great things about like kind of the body horror practical effects in that. So again, I haven't seen the movie, so I don't even know why I'm like saying that I would like this to win, but just because it's a horror movie, I think that'd be fun. I guess Frankenstein is too, but I don't know. I wasn't that big on the way that they made Frankenstein look in that. Okay, we'll do the last four major categories here. For best director, we have Paul Thomas Anderson for One Battle After Another, Ryan Coogler for Sinners, Josh Safdie for Marty Supreme, Joachim Trier for Sentimental Value, and Chloe Zhao for Hamnet. This has to be PTA's time to finally win this, and I think he should. Yeah, that would be my pick as well. It's close between him and Josh Safdie, because I do worry at some point. I'm like, is the Academy ever going to recognize Josh Safdie and Benny Safdie for their work together? Coogler would be great as well. I wouldn't really love the last two, but yeah. So I'll say prediction: Paul Thomas Anderson, and I also want Paul Thomas Anderson to win. For best actor, this is probably maybe one of the categories which is like the closest, like most unpredictable, because there's been a lot of change in momentum at award ceremonies recently. It's the discourse around kind of these two leads, like Oscars campaigns, have been very interesting. But so we have Timothée Chalamet for Marty Supreme, Leo DiCaprio for One Battle After Another, Ethan Hawke for Blue Moon, Michael B. Jordan for Sinners, Wagner Moura for Secret Agent. There's going to be a lot of discourse about this afterwards, especially if Timothée Chalamet doesn't win. I think it's important to remember that these are all just really top tier performances. I think I've seen all five of these, and they're just all terrific across the board. I think that Michael B. Jordan's going to win based on, again, some of the momentum change that's happened. I think it's a great performance. I love that he's able to play twins and make both of them very distinct and different. And he's just very charismatic, has that movie star quality that you want in a blockbuster that's smart. So it kind of has all the pieces you want. But I just think Timothée Chalamet, this is like his best work. So I would really still like to see Timothée Chalamet win. He finally kind of won me over as like a performance that I'm like totally championing for him. Yeah, I don't know. It's close. I think it could go either way, but I do think there's a little bit more wind at the back of Michael B. Jordan at the moment. Best actress, this one will not be competitive. There's Jessie Buckley for Hamnet, Rose Byrne for If I Had Legs I'd Kick You, Kate Hudson for Song Sung Blue, Renate Riens, I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing that, for Sentimental Value, and Emma Stone for Begonia. This is actually a category where to be fair, I haven't seen a couple of these movies, but from what I have seen, I actually haven't loved these performances necessarily. Jessie Buckley is absolutely going to win this. I mean, she's been winning at every award ceremony, basically. I think out of the other ones, I think I like Emma Stone the best, actually. Especially knowing where that movie concludes, like it is kind of an interesting performance. It's one I'd like to rewatch. But yeah, no, it's just I think she does a good balance of playing like a very like a very sort of corporate CEO type that's more alienating, but then also has to be kind of this everyman protagonist character to for the audience. Yeah, just something I feel like I haven't really seen from her before, so it was interesting. She doesn't need to win another Oscar, to be honest, so I won't be totally mad if Jessie Buckley wins, but I did not like her performance in Hamnet, I'll have to say. And then lastly, Best Picture. So nominees are Begonia, F1, Frankenstein, Hamnet, Marty Supreme, One Battle After Another, The Secret Agent, Sentimental Value, Sinners, and Train Dreams. Um, it's close because there's a lot of really good ones this year. I think there's only really one movie on this list that I didn't like, which is Hamnet. Sorry, Frankenstein. I didn't like either. I think it's going to be One Battle After Another. I'm going back and forth between whether I would prefer that or Sinners. I ranked or Marty Supreme. I I had One Battle After Another ahead, as my number 2 film of the year, on my best of the year list. So I'm gonna stick with that. I'm gonna say I would like that to win, and I just think it will based on, I don't know. It really was kind of movie of the year in a lot of the cultural discourse. If you see like just kind of the um, I don't know. It just kind of feels like the one that's going to stick with the test of time. It's also very politically relevant right now. I think Academy likes to go for that. But it's, and it's also, and it's got huge stars in it. It's got a big name director, with A-listers, and it's really well done. So yeah, I think the Academy is doing a little bit better at picking Best Picture than they have in previous years. So I don't know how much confidence I have in them going forward, but I mean, so far, so good. The last 3 years have been pretty solid. Anyway, that's going to do it for this video. If you like this video, please like the video down below and subscribe to the channel if you're new. I have been planning a Sam Raimi ranking, kind of Red Letter Media did a video on that recently, and I have been making my way through his filmography of all the films I haven't seen after seeing Send Help. So yeah, I just thought that would be a fun one to do. I haven't done a director ranking video in a while, so stay tuned for that, and I will see you guys in the next one. See ya.